I've been playing a lot of Lance lately, and I looked for some guides online on how to make an insanely powerful Lance. And I gotta tell you, I was disappointed with what I found. But have no fear, because I have created something much better than anything I've found on the internet. And I'm going to share it with you today, right here, right now. This is my highly flexible elemental Lance build. Let's take a look at what we've got, and you can see if this is the build that's right for you. Now, this is the ice version of my build. And in order for you to convert it to a different element, all you have to do is swap the weapon and swap out the elemental decos. It doesn't rely on the weapon slots for anything useful. The weapon decos are pure bonus. For example, if I want to make this a dragon lance for you D&D lovers out there, I'm going to pick this primordial lance right here. And those 3 level 4 slots are all bonus. What am I going to do? I'm going to put attack up in there, of course. I don't need to put dragon attack up in that because I can put that on the set itself. You can't get much more different in slot availability on a weapon than these 2 right here, the Spine Tooth Spear and the Silver Stabber. You go from 3 level 4 slots to 2 level 1 slots. Now, there's only 2 ways to make that worse, having 1 level 1 slot or no slots at all. But you want a different element? Well, you go pick your alternate lance element, fire, whatever the hell that is. But whatever it ends up being, just build it and use it. Ooh, that one's nice. Dawn Moon Piercer, 57 fire. Look at that. And as you can see, ooh, there's a nice lightning one. Ooh, there's a nice fire one. Got nice affinity on it. Not nearly as much purple though. There's a lot of nice fire lances in here. Oh, look at that water lance, Royal Ludroth. It's got to be something better than that, though. Thunder, Oppressor's Genesis. There's some cool lances out there, folks. That one looks better, though, doesn't it? 71, Narwa Lance. That's beautiful. Nice purple, too. So, yeah, this has no slots. That's fine. This works with my build. Love that purple on that, though. But the nice thing is, you don't need that much purple because the way this build is set up, you don't lose sharpness very quickly at all. You could use this with any elemental lance that you want, and you're going to have a good time. So let's take a look at the build, and then we'll take a look at it in action. What have we got on this thing? Well, first of all, you're going to augment the weapon the same way you would augment any elemental weapon. And that is all element and the level 1 attack boost. If you like that, I do myself. What kind of skills do we have on this build? Check it out. There's no attack up on this. If you want the attack up, you can swap something else out for it. Or in the case of the Primordial Malzeno, stick it on the lance itself. It's not that important for a elemental lance to have the attack up. Although for some matchups, it can really help. For monsters that are very weak to element, and that's most of the monsters in the game, the attack up is not going to give you an advantage, but we do want the crit. We are going to have some critical element on here. You want your element maxed out, and I'll show you how you can do that. All you got to do is swap out this single one and swap out this level 4 deco, and you've got your new element. Pretty easy. Now we've got Handicraft 4. If you can get 5 in there, go for it. 4 is plenty. We got Mail of Hellfire 3. Now, some people may think, oh, run the Mail of Hellfire on the elemental side, right? No, don't. Run it on the attack side. You're going to get better results that way, and you're also less likely to die that way. Now, I just got through saying the attack up isn't that big of a benefit compared to the element up, right? Well, there are diminishing returns here, and since you don't have the attack up, well, get it through Mail of Hellfire. Adding more element from the Mail of Hellfire will give you more element attack power, but it also makes you extremely vulnerable. So you can try it both ways. Try it on either scroll and see which way you like the best. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what exactly to do. You figure out your own way. Change this build however you want, but this is a great place to start if you are tired of the meta that may be holding you back. You're going to see bigger damage numbers with this than whatever Lance meta build you find out there. Critical boost, weakness exploit, goes without saying. Critical element. Check this out, Master's Touch 3. We got 3 levels of guard, 3 levels of offensive guard. Flinch is a bonus, but I like it. We got element exploit. Windproof is a bonus. Kushala blessing. This is for an ice lance, and that's why I put it on this particular lance. Slotted it right in there. And Intrepid Heart is nice to have. Blood Awakening is a bonus, but it does give you some extra damage. Blood Right is very cool. This keeps you alive. Powder Mantle is just that much more bonus damage. Now you might be thinking, well, what about the Teostra? Where do we get Teostra from when we're using our Fire Lance? Well, let's check it out. What is our go-to Fire Lance? Well, which one has the most fire and attack? Dawn Moon Piercer is pretty cool. 57 fire, 330 attack, but the Purple Sharpness is kind of bad. Is there a better one? 330, 46 with so much more purple. I'd probably go with this one instead. So as you can see, the Fire Lances have, oh wow, this one right here, Cactus, never mind, spoke too soon. Look at the purple, the fire's decent, the attack is a little lower, but look at the slots. There's your Teostra, you've got bonus affinity, and you got an extra level 4 slot. Put an attack up deco in that. And you're set. You got the triple rampage slot. Awesome. Flaming Espinus is the way to go right there for your Fire Lance. All right. Well, what about the Thunder? You're not getting the Thunder boost unless you do some magical stuff with, what is it, the Narwa set. So don't worry about that. What about water? Well, let's look at our Water Lance. We said we wanted a Matsu for water. No slots whatsoever. Terrible affinity. Do you really want a Matsu? Well, if you're using Silkbind attacks, maybe you do want a Matsu, and maybe it's worth it. If you're spamming Silkbind attacks, how are you going to get those 2 level 1 slots open? Well, you can look to get a couple more level 1 slots through your augments, or you could go with the Ludroth. I know, it's blasphemy. It's got decent damage. It's got really nice water, and the only problem is not a lot of purple. You want purple? Check out Shogun. Pretty cool. You still don't get 2 slots with Shogun. Not too difficult to work around. Here's Mizu is really nice for water and purple and attack. It's got a single slot and some affinity, so you could maybe augment in another slot. You don't get the Elembane on this, although you could augment it to have the Rampage level 3. That might actually be in your best interest to do that. So a lot of options, a lot of flexibility with this build. Let's check out the armor pieces. The usual suspects. Now, some of these pieces, this piece in particular, I have a great augment on. So you're probably going to end up with a different hat than me. This has got a triple slot augment. So it comes up in the set builder for me on occasion because of that very reason. This is probably the one you're going to differ from me on, because I don't know that you're going to have a triple slot augment on yours. This is probably, I don't know, probably the second best augment I've ever gotten on gear. But oddly enough, it doesn't actually come up in the set builder as often as you might think for being my second best augment. So Primordial, getting 2 slots on a Primordial is nice. I have so many of these. I have like 7 Primordial males that I've augmented, and a couple of them have actually gotten 2 slots. So it's not that hard to get on Primordial. This is pretty basic, of 1 point of Mail of Hellfire and 1 point of Element Exploit, not difficult to get on an augment. This one's pretty nice. 1 point of Offensive Guard and 1 point of Blood Right. Took me a while to get that, but you know, if you don't get the Blood Right, fine. You can probably get the point of Offensive Guard, or you can just get more slots. And as you can see, this piece is ripe for slots. Talisman is pretty nice. See, this Mail of Hellfire, I don't even need it because my Talisman has Mail of Hellfire 3 on it. So I can optimize this build a little more, can't I? So I'm overloaded on Mail of Hellfire. So in my builds, the most important thing isn't the armor pieces that you need to build, because I just use a set builder to tell me how to put it together. The important thing is getting the right set of armor skills working together. And as far as the armor pieces go, it's just knowing that it's possible to get that set of armor skills without having crazy augments. In fact, I can probably take a different helm and augment it and make it as good as this one to work for this build. That's not a crazy aug. A 2 slot increase is not crazy at all. Mail of Hellfire, I'm not even using it. So this is a piece I could even improve my set with if I re-aug those gloves. That's not a difficult aug to get. That one, maybe. So you can see it's very doable. It's very buildable. It's not difficult to get this in endgame. And so what is the set of armor skills that I've found works really well and is flexible enough so that you can swap out any element that you want? And here it is. Crit 7, Ice Attack 5, or Element Attack 5, Handicraft 4, Mail of Hellfire 3. And look, if you can't get Mail of Hellfire, don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. Just drop it off your build. Critical Boost, Weakness Exploit, Crit Element, Master's Touch 3. This is important. You got to max out your affinity and max out your Master's Touch. That plus your Handicraft and, of course, a weapon that has enough Purple Sharpness. You're not going to see a lot of sharpness loss with this build. Guard level 3, if you're not just straight blocking all the time and you're using the other blocking moves that Lance offers you, then guard level 3 is going to get you through just fine. Offensive guard is huge. You should always have this on your Lance build. Element exploit. And then if you can get the extra 10% for your element, go for it, whether it's Teostra or Kushala Blessing. And beyond that, the rest is just bonus. 1 point of blood right is always really good. If you can squeeze that in through an augment, definitely do it. So I've got these 2 lances because I've been fighting monsters that are weak to ice and weak to dragon. That's where I'm at right now. Let's take a look at the dragon version of this. Right here, Lance M. That's my best Lance version. And how does this differ? Well, I've got those 3 level 4 slots on the weapon. So let's see what that allows me to get. Attack boost 4 and burst. So pretty cool. That's really nice to have. And this works really well. I love this Lance against any monster, not even just the dragon weak monsters, just anyone, just because this Lance is so flexible. It's effectively a raw Lance. You can pop those dragon decos out and convert it to a raw Lance pretty easily. Pop the element exploit out, pop a lot of this elemental stuff out of it, and then just boost raw. Love this Lance. Very flexible. A lot of potential, as they say. And again, be mindful of your augments on your weapon. And this one has got the dragon boosted all the way up. So this is a dragon slayer right here. Now you may see some meta builds that tell you use dragon conversion. Don't waste your time on dragon conversion. It's not going to give you that much more damage. It just isn't. Boosting the raw on the Lance has a huge effect, whereas spending those same points to boost your element even further, not so much. So there it is. Hope you like this build. Try it out. Tell me what you think. Compare it to your own personal meta Lance build and tell me how you would improve this build. Like the video, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, head over to the Discord. You can support me directly on Patreon, and I've got more builds on the way. So I'll see you guys in the next one.